3S has just launched this new headset right here. If you somehow don't know what this is, basically a Quest 3 internals with a Quest 2 shell, lenses, and screen. So people are calling it a Quest 2.5, Quest 2.8, Quest 3 Lite. Meta sent this over and you've been asking already, why do you already have accessories on it? Well, luckily some Quest 3 accessories already work on it, head straps work on it, controller grips work on it. And then in the process of reviewing the headset, I hate the stock facial interface, so I got out this weird one they gave me, this flexible fabric one that you can see through and poke through, but because it's silicone, I like that a little better. So let's talk about the Meta so far accessories that they've made for the 3S, what other ones will work for you, and let's check out this new charging dock they sent us. So the grips I've got right now on here are the Meta own wrist grip, whatever the heck you want to call them, hand straps. They're a little overpriced at 40 bucks. They do work really well. I've fully reviewed these before. They stay on your hands well. They replace the battery door. You no longer have the ability to have your wrist strap on, but if you really cared about your wrist strap, I mean, you could like wrap it around. But the idea with these is they also work in tandem with their new charging dock. So this compact charging dock is meant to be either the 3 or the 3S, but really the reason they made it is because the new 3S does not have those golden prongs on the bottom. You can't set it into the Meta charging dock. So this is supposed to replace the need for that. It's pretty basic for what it is. I mean, you've got a bit of a weighted dock here. Oh, it does have something nifty about though. I'll give them this. So they're making it a little more sleek by making these ports in the side. So you can plug your power in here and you run it like this. So it's gonna come out looking a little cleaner with just the cable hanging out the side there. I like that. So it's got one here to charge your controllers. So you do have to replace your batteries inside your controllers. And then the other is here to charge your headset. So you are back to USB-C manually charging your headset. And of course it doesn't include a freaking power brick because they assume you just got the headset. You're gonna have a power brick with it. So that's what this is gonna go for. It's that 18-watt one they sent you already. And then we're back to replacing batteries and controllers and having the controllers be fully wirelessly rechargeable, which is nice. But as I mentioned before, it's kind of a luxury or even maybe unnecessary. A stock set of batteries like the ones they send you here, I mean, these things can last months, where these tiny little batteries, I think these things are like 167 milliamp hours. Yeah, literally 167 milliamp hours. Most like high capacity Duracells you get like 3,000. So these wouldn't last very long, but as long as you put it back on the dock every time, you're gonna be fine. They'll last longer than one single play session. But ultimately, I mean, if you're not having to replace batteries, but every couple months, do you really need a dock that charges up your controllers? I don't think you do, but I personally do like it myself. I like knowing that my headset's always charged, controllers are always charged. I don't have to like worry about it when I pick them up. I have one of Meta's own 18-watt new power bricks that come with the 3S. Plug that in, and what information do we have relayed here? We have an orange light telling us one controller is currently charging, and then I've got the other one here. Same process as before, remove your battery out of it. And in theory, that is how the controller part of this works, which is why this isn't a very elegant solution, in my opinion, because now then you just take your headset and plug this in, and so now your headset's plugged in, those are wirelessly charging, whole thing's plugged in the wall. Can you at least go like that? Oh yeah, you can kind of house it a little bit, make it look a little prettier on your desk, and maybe hide the wires so it doesn't look so bad. These kind of controller batteries with wireless charging, I use these with the old Meta dock. It's the same design as this, but it just had room for the headset in the middle. It's fine. You'll charge these up, you'll get more than enough hours. 12 hours is what you're supposed to get on a single charge, and even then, as long as you're throwing them on every time, you're not gonna run the controllers out of battery while you're in a play session. And it just means you have peace of mind now that they're always charged up. The flip side of that I will say though, not necessarily with the Meta ones, but just with these batteries in general, they do seem a bit more prone to failure. I've had a lot of people reporting in the comments theirs failed on some set of controllers they had with the rechargeable battery inside, and especially with something like 167 milliamp hours. If you do forget to put it back on the charging dock for a couple sessions, all of a sudden you're back to taking this off and swapping over to one of your old batteries that you had already that would have probably lasted you months anyways. Just not totally necessary, but I personally, because I have several headsets too, I do like setups like this because I can have one headset that sits there and it gets used twice a month, but I know it's always charged, it's always ready to go. And then of course, their other idea is maybe you are using a Quest 3 specific Elite battery strap, and with their battery strap, you can plug this into the back and it'll juice the whole thing. It'll have it completely ready to go all the time. But for me, someone who has the Bobo strap that I'm swapping off batteries like this, I really don't need this dock at all. And it's 60 bucks, in my opinion, it's really not that great of a deal. If It came with the hand straps already. They're like another $40 as part of this whole setup. So you end up with hand straps, you end up with batteries that fit in, wirelessly charge them, and then an easy accessible cord to always plug your headset in. I would probably say that's worth it at that price, but without the hand straps, 60 bucks is not cheap for what you're getting here, when really, all you're really saving yourself with this setup is swapping controller batteries. Like, you're still gonna have a cable running from your stock power brick that you got that you can plug your headset in. Really, you're just paying for this, and I guess the fact that it kind of looks nice, you'll know where your controllers are, but I would say right now, my opinion, hold out. There's gonna be aftermarket ones that are gonna be better. There's other options that'll just look nicer, they'll house everything better. This is a bit of an odd half measure. I guess it made sense because the Meta Quest original charging dock doesn't work at all for the 3S, so they needed to drop something that's like, hey, this is from us, this will charge it, it'll keep it like this. Even having it, I'm not positive I'm gonna use it, honestly. Like, once I finish, right now we're working on having like a nice setup charging station that will house all of our Quests, other headsets, keep everything charged ready to go, so that way if we want to suddenly jump into an 8-player round of a game, everyone grab a headset, the controllers are right next to it, they're charged, they're juiced, and everything's ready to go. And I'm not sure this even has a place in my setup. So yeah, I definitely am not gonna be leaving a link recommending it to you, but if there's new charge docks that come out, or there's some other ones I'm interested in, or even just a set of charging grips, literally a set of charging grips would cost less money than this and pretty much would do the exact same thing, those would be the things I would go for instead. So keep an eye out here on the channel. There's gonna be a lot of new stuff, accessories coming, especially now that the 3S is out. Gotta talk more about the strap that I'm using on it and other things here too. Back over real quick to facial interfaces though, we're kind of in the same situation we had when the Quest 3 first came out. You just didn't have facial interface options. You had the stock one, or the Quest 3 silicone official one, which was kind of expensive, but it didn't change anything except for it was silicone instead of cloth. This one's really different. This one, I've been using it, it breathes, air travels through it, especially because I use this head strap that has a built-in fan that creates airflow. I can feel some of that airflow coming through the top. The light bleed on the thing is horrible. I can see completely through this thing. I can see exactly where the camera is right now. This could not have this thin fabric here and be virtually the exact same interface. I am liking the interface for now just because it's your only choice. It does give you silicone, it does breathe really well, you have less fogging because of that, but for most people who aren't used to using an open facial interface of any sort, the light bleed is gonna drive you crazy. Like, if you're not someone who can already do that, and I sometimes even rock headsets like this with no facial interface at all, so I don't really care if there's that issue. As far as facial interfaces go, if you like one that's vented, if you want to be silicone, this one's okay. I will leave a link to this, but know that in 3 or 4 weeks, there's gonna be tons of aftermarket companies offering other facial interfaces, leather ones, and maybe even ones like this. Maybe they're gonna drop some without the side covers. Or if you're like me and you're already rocking an S3, technically, you can just play with your headset like this with nothing here, which for some people really weirds them out, but for me, I did enough with the Quest Pro and that kind of off-face feeling that I got from this, it doesn't really bug me to do that. So for now, I am rocking this. I don't know that I'm gonna keep this. I might just give this away to one of you. I just don't really see this fitting in the setup that I need. And it's also just not a very clean, for a dock, it doesn't look very clean. It just looks like more wires hanging out everywhere to me. But what do you think? Did you get a 3S? Does this even apply to you? Because you already had a 3 and there's no reason to go get a 3S for you. I'd love to know in the comments down below. I'll be watching out for more of these accessories, reviewing them as they come. Once we actually get some freaking carrying cases that can carry the headset, I'll do that. But for me, you know, this compact carrying case is meant to only carry the stock head strap. And in that case, I'm like, why don't I just throw the whole thing in my bag without a case? There'll be more accessories. Watch out for those videos. But thank you once again for coming out here and being with me. I'll see you in another reality.